Imagine a mother pushed to the absolute brink, staring down the unthinkable, her child's life hanging by a thread. Picture a system so rigid, so bureaucratic, that it prioritizes anonymity over a dying boy's last hope. What would you do if you were told your only way to save your son meant shattering laws, defying authorities, and becoming a criminal? Today, we dive deep into the heart-wrenching and adrenaline-fueled true story behind A Mother's Instinct, a film that asks just how far a parent will go. Welcome back, cinematic explorers, to a recap that promises to keep you on the edge of your seat as we unravel every twist and turn of this emotional roller coaster. Thank you for joining me, and let's get right into it. Our story begins with Jada and Paul, a couple facing the agonizing struggle of infertility. They consider various options, including embryo donation, a path Paul initially resists but eventually agrees to, driven by their desperate hope for a child. After a successful procedure, they are informed that one embryo is viable, a moment of profound joy amidst their arduous journey. However, their hope is tragically short-lived, as the doctor soon delivers the devastating news: the embryo didn't take. With two options left, a donor embryo or adoption, the couple faces another heartbreaking decision. The doctor explains that a donor embryo would mean the child wouldn't have their DNA but would still be theirs to birth and raise. The weight of these decisions takes a toll on their relationship, leading to arguments and growing distance. Paul, unable to cope with the emotional strain, ultimately leaves, marking the end of their struggle as a couple. Flash forward 10 years, and we see Jada as a fiercely independent and devoted single mother to her son, Noah. Noah is a vibrant, courageous child, excelling in boxing, a sport Jada coaches with unwavering passion. Jada instills in her young boxers, including Noah, a powerful mantra of courage and spirit over anger. Before a match, she shares a special code of honor with Noah, reinforcing their unbreakable bond and his fighting spirit. Paul makes a rare appearance at one of Noah's matches, highlighting his absence in their lives and causing a tense reunion with Jada. Noah, accustomed to life without his father, displays a noticeable coolness towards Paul, further deepening the rift. Later, at an amusement park, a joyous family outing takes a terrifying turn. Noah suddenly collapses, prompting Jada's frantic cries for help as the world around them dissolves into a blur of panic. At the hospital, the doctor delivers the life-shattering diagnosis: Noah has leukemia, a serious blood cancer. He needs to begin chemotherapy immediately, followed potentially by a bone marrow transplant. Jada, reeling from the news, asks the doctor if it's terminal, grappling with the unthinkable. The doctor reassures her but emphasizes her need to stay strong for her son. Jada insists that Paul be informed, despite Noah's reluctance. Noah meets his cheerful nurse, Kevin, and Fanta, who are there to insert a catheter, a small tube for his medication. Paul finally calls Jada back, offering a superficial apology for his absence, clearly preoccupied with his own schedule. Jada confronts her restaurant boss for a lighter schedule, revealing Noah's illness and her urgent need to care for him. The chemotherapy takes a brutal toll on Noah, leaving him weak, nauseous, and deeply distressed. Jada explains to him in simple terms that his body is producing too many sick white blood cells, overwhelming the healthy ones. Noah, suffering immensely, cries out that he can't take the pain anymore, a heart-wrenching moment for Jada. Amidst his treatment, Noah develops a sweet crush on Inez, another young patient, and his friends playfully tease him about it. Encouraged by his friends, Noah is urged to talk to Inez, overcoming his shyness. Jada tenderly shaves Noah's head as his hair begins to fall out, reassuring him he'll be even more handsome. Paul's return to town prompts Jada to finally break the news about Noah's illness, leading to an explosive confrontation. Paul is enraged that Jada waited weeks to tell him, accusing her of negligence. Jada retaliates, highlighting his prolonged absence and her sole responsibility as a parent. Despite their bitter argument, Paul's immediate desire is to see his son, which Jada agrees to under certain conditions. Paul visits Noah, who remains distant and resentful, leading to another tense exchange where Noah challenges Paul's presence. Paul, for the first time, offers a heartfelt apology to Noah for his absence and for the pain caused by his parents' separation. He explains that their fight to have Noah led them to hurt each other, but acknowledges his failure to be there for his son. Later, in the hospital, Paul inquires about Noah's condition from Jada, their conversation still strained. Jada confesses her inability to cry for almost a year, a symptom of her emotional exhaustion and hardened resolve. They witness other children, including Coralie, celebrating a procedure, finding moments of joy despite their circumstances. Noah and Inez share a tender moment, where Inez declares her desire for Noah to be her husband, a sweet promise of young love. Noah bravely confides in Inez, revealing he was born through embryo donation, a secret he's just beginning to understand. They share their fears of dying, a sobering reality for children battling serious illnesses. The doctor informs Jada that Noah's rare and aggressive leukemia means he definitely needs a bone marrow transplant as soon as possible. A glimmer of hope appears when the doctor suggests contacting the donor couple, as Noah might have a biological sibling. This sibling, the doctor explains, would be their best chance at finding a compatible donor. Paul learns that Noah doesn't know about his embryo donation, sparking another heated argument with Jada about truth and parenting. Jada defends her decision to tell Noah, explaining she couldn't wait for Paul to be present. Jada contacts Seekos, the organization that facilitated the donation, only to be met with regulations preventing the disclosure of donor identities. Despite the urgency of Noah's condition, Seekos is bound by strict laws regarding donor anonymity. Tragedy strikes the ward as Coralie, Noah's friend, passes away, deeply traumatizing Noah and reinforcing his fear of death. Noah questions the purpose of his fight, expressing his hatred for his medical devices and his fear of dying. He asks Jada if he will be next, a heartbreaking query that underscores his despair. Paul, present during this breakdown, tries to reassure Noah and the other crying children that no one will die. Jada and Paul unite to give a heartfelt pep talk, reminding the children of their strength and the lion's roar they once shared. Jada then attempts to get Noah on an urgent waiting list for a bone marrow transplant, but is told to be patient, a word that now feels like a death sentence. Frustrated, Jada tries to bypass bureaucracy at Seekos, demanding answers, but is repeatedly denied access and told to make an appointment. She finally corners Ms. Durand, the Seekos official, who reveals that Noah's biological parents had another daughter who tragically died. There is another couple who received an embryo from the same donors, but they refuse to hear about the situation. Durand states the family's right to anonymity must be respected, even in this life-or-death situation. Desperate, Jada confronts Durand at the office, begging her to make the call and let her speak to the other mother. Durand, caught between regulations and Jada's raw emotion, expresses fear of losing her job and dismisses Jada. Jada returns to Noah's bedside, overwhelmed with fear and love, pleading with him to keep fighting. Suddenly, Noah's condition rapidly deteriorates, triggering a frantic alarm and Jada's desperate cries for help. Medical staff rush in, and Jada watches helplessly as they work to stabilize her convulsing son. Convinced that the system is failing Noah, Jada confronts the doctors during a meeting, vowing her son will not suffer Coralie's fate. She accuses them of not prioritizing Noah, feeling he is merely a lottery number in a flawed system. Her outburst leads to her being forcibly removed from the meeting, further fueling her rage. Paul tries to reason with Jada, urging her to stop alienating everyone, but she insists her anger is born of deep pain. She declares her unwavering commitment to go all the way to save Noah, refusing to give up. Paul, seeing her dangerous resolve, warns her that she cannot do this alone, but Jada remains defiant. Driven by desperation, Jada attempts to bribe a Seekos employee for the donor family's information but is rejected. In a moment of sheer desperation, Jada violently breaks into the Seekos archives, bypassing security measures. She frantically searches for the donor file, narrowly escaping a security guard's patrol. Jada flees the building with the file, leading police on a high-speed chase through the streets. After a dramatic escape, she finally opens the stolen file, only to find the crucial information missing. Later, at the hospital, police arrive to arrest Jada, drawing Paul into another chaotic confrontation with authorities. In a shocking turn, Jada disarms an officer and takes a gun, initiating a tense standoff. Paul desperately tries to talk her down, but Jada is resolute, stating she is doing this for Noah. She forces Paul to leave, determined to proceed with her drastic plan. Inside the pediatric ward, Jada orders Nurse Fanta to lock all emergency exits and confiscates all phones, effectively taking control. Jada addresses the staff and children, assuring them she means no harm if they cooperate, but her actions speak louder than words. Outside, Commander Menenti of the SWAT team gathers information on Jada, finding her profile to be surprisingly ordinary. SWAT negotiator Campos arrives, and the police begin efforts to tap Jada's phone and all lines in the ward. Paul calls Jada, frantically warning her that she is surrounded and urging her to stop this madness. Campos establishes contact, trying to de-escalate, but Jada asserts her only goal is to save Noah and demands the donor child be brought. Fanta spots a hidden camera, which Jada swiftly destroys, cutting off external surveillance. Jada makes a chilling call to a national news office, identifying herself as the hostage taker and setting the stage for public awareness. Meanwhile, the donor family, Agnes and her husband, learn of the hostage situation and realize Jada is looking for their son, Adrian. Jada goes live on TV, delivering a powerful and emotional plea, exposing the bureaucratic, administrative wall that is letting a child die. She declares her unwavering resolve to go all the way to save Noah, a chilling statement that worries the hospital staff. The children, surprisingly, view Jada as a cool figure rather than a threat, a testament to her connection with them. Jada reassures the staff that the children, staff, and hospital will remain safe, cementing a fragile truce. Nadia calls Jada, tearfully begging her to reconsider, expressing fear for her daughter's life and freedom. Jada, with a heavy heart, tells her mother she loves her before disconnecting the call, fully committing to her path. Noah and Inez share a tender conversation, both uncertain if they will survive their illnesses. A man claiming to be Lucien's dad bangs on the ward door, pleading to see his son. Fanta explains that Lucien is a new, very sick 4-year-old, whose mother just passed away. Jada, swayed by the father's desperation and the sad circumstances, allows him entry after a thorough search. However, the man is actually Dan, an undercover SWAT officer, who immediately attacks Jada upon entering the ward. A struggle ensues, culminating in a gunshot, with Dan falling injured. Campos demands Dan's immediate release, but Jada refuses until she speaks to the donor family. Jada confronts Kevin, accusing him of complicity and violently taking his phone. News reports confirm the shooting of a police officer, escalating the crisis and changing the dynamics of the negotiation. Noah's condition takes a critical turn for the worse, entering septic shock, leaving Jada distraught. The doctor delivers a grim prognosis: Noah needs a transplant now or he might not survive the next episode. Dr. Bonfanti shares a moment with Jada, commiserating about the emotional toll of their work and acknowledging Jada's profound love for Noah. Campos contacts Bonfanti, revealing they've reached Agnes, the donor mother, and asking the doctor to facilitate the conversation. Agnes, speaking to Bonfanti, expresses her fear and her husband's resistance to telling Adrian the truth about his origins. Bonfanti gently pushes Agnes, explaining that Adrian will eventually find out, and he might discover he could have saved a life. Jada attempts to speak to Agnes directly, but Agnes panics and hangs up, unable to face the confrontation. Campos delivers an ultimatum: time is up, the family hasn't responded, and SWAT intervention is inevitable. Jada makes one final request: to be with Noah when he passes, if it comes to that. Outside, a massive demonstration of solidarity erupts, with families and activists rallying behind Jada, highlighting the broader issue of transplant waiting lists. Paul desperately tries to intervene, warning SWAT that they are going to kill Jada, but he is held back. Jada shares a tearful, loving moment with Noah, expressing her wish to protect him and spare him from suffering. She whispers her ultimate sacrifice, "I'd give my life for you," a profound declaration of maternal love. Just as SWAT prepares to breach, Dr. Bonfanti receives a miraculous call from Agnes. Adrian has been tested and he is compatible. This incredible news breathes new life into the desperate situation, offering a chance to save Noah. SWAT breaches the ward, creating chaos, but Bonfanti and nurses push through with Adrian's marrow, urging officers to prioritize the transplant. Bonfanti reminds the officers that the ward is full of children, urging them to lower their weapons. Jada has vanished, having escaped with Fanta, disguised to avoid capture. Fanta reluctantly gives Jada her distinctive blonde wig, completing Jada's disguise. They enlist the help of Malik, Fanta's relative, who, despite his reluctance, agrees to drive them. Jada and Fanta arrive at Agnes's home, where Jada, now disguised, informs Agnes that her son is compatible. Agnes's husband attempts to call the police, but Jada's desperate plea, coupled with Agnes's own maternal instinct, prevails. Agnes explains to a confused Adrian that he can save another boy, and he agrees to help. They arrive at the hospital, where Jada shields Adrian from the armed officers, and Paul, seeing Adrian, demands the officers lower their weapons. Manenti gives the order to stand down, allowing Adrian to be safely escorted for the procedure. Jada is finally arrested, her dramatic and desperate journey to save her son coming to an end. 5 years later, we see Noah, now a healthy, thriving young boy, living a full life. The film ends with a powerful message about pediatric cancer research and the critical need for funding and donations. This incredible film, A Mother's Instinct, leaves us with profound questions about morality, love, and the limits of maternal devotion. What did you think of Jada's actions? Would you have done the same? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, please hit the like button, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite movies. Until next time, keep exploring the magic of cinema.